But this isn't the sound of joy. It's the haunting cry of a broken mind. Arthur Fleck isn't just another comic book villain. He's a mirror reflecting the darkest corners of our society. A case study in what happens when mental illness goes untreated and ignored. Diagnosed with multiple conditions, likely including schizophrenia and pseudobulbar affect, Arthur is a man constantly dismissed, ignored, and ridiculed by those around him. His story forces us to confront an uncomfortable truth. What happens when society fails its most vulnerable members? Let's dive deeper into the psychology behind the Joker and explore how a man becomes a monster. According to Maslow's hierarchy of needs, humans require certain basic elements to function and thrive. At the very bottom of this pyramid are physiological needs like food and shelter. Next comes safety, then love and belonging, esteem, and finally, self-actualization. But where does Arthur Fleck fall on this hierarchy? Tragically, Arthur is stuck at the very bottom. He struggles to maintain even the most basic levels of safety and stability. His job as a party clown barely pays the bills, and his living conditions are far from ideal. But it's not just material needs that Arthur lacks. He's starved for genuine human connection. His relationship with his mother is complicated and codependent. His interactions with co-workers are strained at best, and his attempts at romance are painfully awkward and misguided. Arthur is a man desperately reaching out for connection, only to have his hand slapped away time and time again. This constant rejection and isolation take their toll. We watch as Arthur's grip on reality slowly slips away, his fantasies blending more and more with his perception of the world around him. But Arthur's violent turn isn't sudden. It's what psychologists call a breaking point, a moment where the accumulated stress of environmental factors and untreated trauma trigger extreme behavior. This breaking point doesn't come out of nowhere. Throughout the film, we see the pressure building. Arthur is beaten, mocked, and dismissed at every turn. His medication is cut off, leaving him without the chemical support he desperately needs. And when he finally lashes out, it's not with calculated malice, but with the raw, uncontrolled fury of a wounded animal. The real tragedy of Arthur's story is how believable it is. While most people with mental illness are not violent, the film forces us to confront the very real consequences of a system that fails to provide adequate support and treatment. Clip of Arthur's descent into madness and violence isn't just the origin story of a comic book villain. It's a stark warning about the dangers of neglecting mental health care and allowing individuals to fall through the cracks of society. Joker challenges us to ask uncomfortable questions. What responsibility do we have to those struggling with mental illness? How can we create a society that provides better support and resources? And at what point does a person's actions become their own responsibility, regardless of their circumstances? The film doesn't offer easy answers. Instead, it presents us with a complex, morally ambiguous character study that forces us to grapple with these difficult questions, the thin line between sanity and madness. As we watch Arthur's transformation into the Joker, we're reminded of the fragility of the human mind. The line between sanity and madness is thinner than we'd like to admit, and any one of us could potentially cross it under the right, or rather, wrong circumstances. This isn't to excuse Arthur's actions. The violence he commits is horrific and unjustifiable, but understanding the factors that led to his breaking point can help us recognize similar patterns in our own society and potentially prevent future tragedies. So what can we learn from Arthur Fleck's story? First and foremost, the importance of early intervention and support for those struggling with mental health issues. Access to consistent, quality mental health care could have made a significant difference in Arthur's life. We also see the critical role that social support plays in maintaining mental health. Arthur's isolation and lack of meaningful connections contributes significantly to his decline. Creating communities that are more inclusive and supportive of those with mental illness could help prevent individuals from reaching their breaking point. The power of empathy. Finally, Joker reminds us of the power of empathy. While we can't condone Arthur's actions, the film challenges us to see the humanity in even the most troubled individuals. It asks us to consider how we treat those who are different or struggling, and what consequences our actions or inactions might have. In the end, the story of Arthur Fleck is a tragedy, not just for him, but for everyone his actions affect. It's a stark reminder of the potential consequences when society fails its most vulnerable members. As we reflect on the psychology behind the Joker, let's challenge ourselves to create a world where fewer people feel pushed to their breaking point. A world with better support, more understanding, and a commitment to addressing mental health issues before they spiral out of control. Because in the end, the most chilling aspect of Arthur Fleck's story is not how different he is from us. It's how similar he could be to anyone who's been pushed too far. Music fades out.